So welcome everyone to Marketing Your Centre to maximise your opportunities. This is a culmination of a couple of presentations that have come together for our way training, and I'm going to be presenting it today. So my name's Andy Hooper. I've sailed since I was, about 8 years old, give or take. I started in cadets and moved into toppers and things like that. Since that, I've gone on to do lots of different things. I can windsurf, depending on what you would describe to what sort of level. Sailing, again, depends on what sort of level you're at. But I can sail and windsurf, and I powerboat, and I do a fair bit of yachting as well. So I've got a really good understanding of all the different schemes or syllabuses, if you like, because I've also taught sailing around the world. So that being a commercial centre, in a club, and as a volunteer. So I'm able to pull on all of those different resources as we go through and think about the customer and the end user and the centre or the club that might want to input some of this information. I worked for the RYA for 9 years. I'm a dinghy coach and inspector. And then when I left the RYA, I set up a company called Lime Sports, which has morphed and grown. And we've now got a different company called Global E-Commerce Experts, and which basically helps Americans expand into Europe, and an IT company as well. I've got a real keen interest in digital marketing, which has a massive crossover with marketing itself. And that's where, over the last 15 years, I've really pushed and driven myself to be able to look at what we can do to improve. I've got my own business, as I already said, but what I'm going to be giving you today is the key skills I've used to grow that business rapidly, to hit basically 7 figures in the last year. And I tell you that so that you know that it's possible, because whilst I worked at the RYA and taught and everything else, there's lots of different skills I can pull on to be able to make sure you're getting the right information. And hopefully that will come across, and you'll be able to take a few things away that will really support you. So what's the outcome for this presentation? Well, the key thing for me is for you to understand who your customer is, where you can find them, but more importantly, the strategy you can create for the content and how to attract them and keep them. Because whilst it's critical for you to find them, if you can't keep them, there's no point getting them in the first place. So we need to make sure we're doing that. And we do that by creating a movement. But we need to look at what we're actually doing. Are we improving people? Are we creating opportunities? What does that actually look like? And there we then need to follow up that with understanding the difference between websites and funnels and how we bring out our clients through. So that's what we're looking to do. Now, my aim for this is to give you the fundamental key skills you can go away and grow your business today. That for me is the first and most important part, because you come on so many webinars, or you have the ability to come on so many webinars. I believe you fundamentally want some things that you can take away, that you can action today. But I'm going to give you all this information. It's down to you to go away and actually do that. It's a great way of generating leads. It will give you the basic blocks of marketing, and also the tangible information you can go away with, again, to take action. It will be relatively generic across all the schemes. I will be putting different information from different schemes in there, specifically around water sports and the RYA type of schemes. So that's what we're trying to look at. Now, it will be relatively generic across all of it. So you may have to think to yourself, okay, how does that work for me? And how do I make that impact our centre or our club or our charity? So there might be some differences. You need to dig into that. But what I would recommend is, what I'm going to give you is the strategy of how to do it, not necessarily the individual tactics. But what you definitely need is a pen and a paper to write all this down. I'm sure the slides will be available after, but I'm going to be going at Mach 2 with all of this information to give you as much as I possibly can. Now, the advantage of it being a webinar is, if you're not sure what I've just said, pause it, rewind it, and listen to it again, because there's so much to go through, and I want to give you so much information so that you can basically go away and make a difference, that I'm going to be going pretty quick. So I apologise now for that, but that's the way it's going to be, and hopefully you can hang on for the ride. So, first thing, who's your customer? You have to really look into where your centre is, what the demographics are, and what the psychographics are, if you like, of all the different people within your local area. Who is it you're trying to attract into your business? Now, for some of you, for different schemes, different schemes or different sports, then what you're going to have to do is look at, there might be a different customer for each one. If you do work with schools, that's going to be one customer. Are you approaching the child or are you approaching a teacher? There's two different customers there. So you need to make sure that what you're doing is you're thinking about who that customer is. Now that might be different because if you're doing yachting or dinghy sailing, that customer could be different. Where is your location? Powerboating, personal watercraft, windsurfing, they all come under different headings and you're trying to attract someone, but who is the dream customer? Now, there's a few different things here. What you need to do is create an avatar. Who is that person that is going to be the one that really helps you to catapult your business? What is the person you're trying to target? Because if you don't know who you're trying to attract, you can't market to that person. And the one thing that a lot of centres do is, hey, we do sailing. We're open for everyone, which is totally applaudable, but your marketing is so confusing, you don't know who it's going to, and neither does the end user. And we're going to come on to that in more detail later date. Now, one thing I would thoroughly recommend you to do is create what we call the Dream 100. So the Dream 100 is it could be two things. It could be your top 100 targets that you want to get into your business. It could be the top 100 partnerships you create for your business. Now, depending on which way you look at it, depends on how that's going to work better for you. Now, we've designed this for the top 100 partnerships. Now, the reason I say that is because if I create one partnership, they might give me 5 customers. If I create a list of a Dream 100 customers, I can only get 100 customers. So I'm looking to create partnerships with individuals and groups and organizations that can refer business to me rather than going after individuals. So once you know who your customer is, you can then work out who else has a similar audience to what you do. So let's take schools as an example. You want to approach schools. Schools is your target customer, and you might have target schools in certain brackets of income and demographics where they might lie, depending on what you're attracting them to do. If you've got a funded course, you might be targeting them for whether they're on free school meals. If you've got high value school courses, you might be targeting them on different demographics. So you need to think about that. But one of the things was, who's got the list of all the teachers? Okay, the council. Okay, who in the council's got that? So your partnership might be the council to basically go to a head teachers summit or conference where you can talk to all of their teachers at once. That's creating a partnership. You're basically taking your marketing, getting in front of one person and speaking to 100. Yeah, that's much more influential than trying to email every school. Now, yes, you still may want to do that, but you're looking to create partnerships to push you forward. Now, if you was to say to me, Andy, we want to bring you in to do some consultancy and we want to pay you thousands of pounds to do it, first thing I'd say is great. The second thing I'd say is no. The first thing you need to do is this. This is what I would get you to do today. Making the Dream 100 is the most important thing you can do to start off with once you've identified who your customer is, okay? Who is the most influential person? Who are the kingpins? Do you remember when you was at school, there would be the popular one, yeah? When you're at work, there's always the popular one. There's always, people gravitate around popular people, yeah? This is no different. Who is that popular person? If you can get that one kingpin, that will help to knock down all the others within that social peer group as well. And that's what you're really looking to try and do. And the ones that have the biggest impact on your process. Now, if you've got 100, you can see the board we've put out here. So this is a board we have on our wall in the office. We also have this all linked into what we call a Trello board as well. If you don't use Trello, it's a fantastic tool that you must use, but we'll come on to that later, I'm sure. So you create a board and then you put the top 10 in each one, and you'll see on that board, we've got a number of different places where we want to create partnerships with. So we've got people online, Facebook, Twitter, people that already have followings. Are they, we work with American e-commerce sellers. So that's why Amazon US sellers is on there. So one of our big partnerships, for example, is Amazon. So who is the number one partner that would have all of our customers? Amazon. Who do we work with? Amazon. Yes, it took a long time to get that partnership, and it takes a lot of hard work to keep it. But the important thing is you're working with that customer because they've got the access to all of your customers you're looking for. And that's what you need to try and work out. So you're looking at Dream 100. You need to identify who that customer is, though. And there's two sides to that. You know, it's the demographics versus the psychographics. The demographics, where they live, all those sort of things. The demographics is more about them as an individual, you know, what they like, where they go, all that sort of stuff. So you really need to look into that and think about who that customer is and what you need to do to achieve and to get them into your business. Yeah. There's a few other things on there. Relationship marketing, you know, you need to build relationships with people. Again, for me, that comes under the partnerships. And the first thing is you really need to go deep into your niche, right? So if you currently do sailing, so does everyone else around you. You know, how many other centers do you have within a 30-mile radius of you today? Because a 30-mile radius is what, 30 to 45 minutes in the car. I take it depends on where you live and everything else. Yeah. But let's say it's a 45-minute journey. People will travel 45 minutes to go and do a course. Okay. So if you're thinking about that, who else is in your area? How do you differentiate yourself to the others? How do you go into your niche slightly different? And that's starting to give you your customer. So understanding your customer is absolutely key. And you want to think about them, you know, what do they look like? Where do they go? Who do they see? Yeah, they're all the sort of things you're looking to do. So what we're going to do is you can pause this here once you've done these. I want you to write a bit of action down. I want you to take some action and write some things down, because what this is going to do by the end is create our secret formula that we're going to be able to pull together. So the first thing, what does your dream customer look like? How old are they? What sex are they? Where do they live? What are their interests? What do they do for a job? How much do they earn? What does their family look like? Now, you're really trying to deep dive into these details. It's not just a case of it's a male adult, okay? Yeah, it's a male or it's a female. It's 45 to 35. You know, what's the age? You know, they live in 2-mile radius of our centre. You know, they like this, this, and this. They probably do this. They earn this much money. You know, you're really looking to dive into the detail and make sure you can get as much information down as you can. Okay, so once you've identified who your customer is, the next thing is you need to create content based around attracting them to your business. Now, we are in a very unique position where creating content for us is straightforward. We are running activity all day, every day. So we've got the ability to take that activity, record it, and put it up. Now, as you can see, Bill Gates in 1996 said content is going to be king. It is absolutely massive now, but you can create a huge amount of content and repurpose that. And I'm going to give you a little example how to do that in a minute. You know, social channels, you need to be able to take that information, create the content that's relevant to your customer and your target audience, because that's where you're aiming to get them to. You're taking the content that is relevant to them to attract them into your business. You can then create all of that into vlogs, podcasts, webinars, seminars, you know, or you can go to seminars. You know, you're looking for real short pieces of information on social to draw consistency, to draw attention. But the last thing you need to make sure you do is be consistent. Consistent brand, consistent messaging, consistent targeting, and consistent action day in, day out. Okay, so here's a great way of creating content. Now, this model on the right that you can see, for me, is really straightforward. What you do is you take one large piece of content. So, for example, that could be, let's say we've got onshore land drills. You know, an onshore land drill could go on for, you know, let's say you're doing the demonstration yourself, you know, from the whiteboard to the demonstration to get the first one on could take anywhere between 5 minutes and half an hour, depending on who you are, what time you've got, the location, and everything else. Okay, so you could take that content, okay, and then what you could do is record that, and you could put that into a video, you could put that into a podcast, you could put that into a blog. All of that information you've then got, okay? So that one piece of 30-minute content could then be chopped up and distributed across all the different channels, both in long form and in short form. So what you're looking to do is take the long content, half an hour, and then split that into chunks. You know, for example, let's say we are doing a land drill tacking, okay? Now, one of the key things that everyone gets, one of the key things that they struggle with is changing their hands over. So actually what you could do is you could have, you know, the long piece of content, but actually your snippet for Facebook or Instagram might just be the hand swap over. You know, here's how you swap your hands over in 10 seconds. Boom. You know, here's the land drill. Bosh, hike out. Everything you need to do, you can put and make into snippets. So you make one long piece, and then you create it in different formats so it can be used for other people, and then distribute it across social platforms. Now, you don't have to just do that once. You can do that once today, but you can do that again in a month's time, and another month, and another month. And if that content's great, you can use that to be able to get your students to go away and look at and use that as recaps later. If it's on YouTube, before they turn up, even turn up for the session, they can say, today we're going to focus on tacking. Please look at this YouTube video. Of course, some of them will, some of them won't. That's fine. But you're giving value to your customer, right? And obviously, there's loads of other things that we can do. You know, teaching on the water, any sort of coaching, the on-land presentations. We can keep all those, record the presentations you do on a wet weather day, record them. You know, I only wish that when I started, you know, teaching sailing quite a few years ago, if I'd recorded all of those sessions, then think of the content I'd have today to be able to repurpose and give back as value to my students. That's really, really key. And you're looking to do that for your customers. Yeah, theory sessions, demos, and it could all be done on a mobile. This really is not, does not have to be high, rich content, full HDMI, you know, full microphones, the whole job. It could be really simple, really easy, and captured on a phone. So here's the action I want you to take now. I want you to write down what are the pieces of content you create every single day. Who's currently delivering it? Who can record it? And what are the 5 ways that you could distribute this differently to what you already are, and who's going to do that? All right. So pause here and now go and basically write those things and pieces of information down. Okay. So moving on, we know where they are. Sorry, we know who our customer is, and we've got some content for them. That content has to be relevant to the market. Yeah, it has to be relevant. You know, if you're trying to attract kids into your centre, the pictures and video have to be of smiley, happy kids. Because when you're selling that to the parents, they want to see their child smiling and having fun on a beautiful sunny day. What they don't want to see is everyone cold, wet, and damp and horrible. Okay, and we'll show some pictures of that later. So, where is your customer hanging out? Where do they hang out in the real life? Where do they hang out in the social world? What do those locations look like? Because if you know where they are, you can attract them. Your marketing can focus in to those individuals in those different places. You know, what are their different interests? What partners can you work with in that place? So if you know, for example, I think there's been a really good piece of marketing done by, so we're a member of a gym and we go on holiday, okay? Now that gym and the holiday company, it's a sailing water sports company, are probably got a very similar target market. So what happens is I go to my gym and I get all the sort of features, all the benefits of being a member, and I get this. But I also get 10 or 15% off, whatever it happens to be, I can't remember the exact, for a holiday at this water sports centre. Now for me, that is a great way of the water sports holiday company working with their target market here in the UK to reach a different audience. Okay, they're giving value to someone's members. Okay, they're getting access to their database, and they're using what I'd call a host beneficiary. So they're using the host's database to be able to market. You know, however many members there are of that gym, okay, across the country, they've been able to go, here's 10% off, and they already do that, I suspect, for RYA members and other organisations. Exactly the same. You know, RYA member, here's a benefit, 10% off, boom. Yeah, they're using the benefit to cross over. All right. Influence is another unique one. I think when I delivered this presentation before, I used a really good example. You know, there's a very good windsurfer coach trainer that is on the circuit and does a huge amount for RV training, racing and sport development, to be fair. And, you know, he's got a ton of huge resources available online, which are focused around windsurfing. Now, you know, if I was to want to reach a target audience of windsurfers, I would go and work with that person and say, hey, I'm trying to reach your audience. How can we work together? Yeah, that is a great way of doing that. So you're trying to work out where they hang out and then work with partners to attract those people. Because if you know where they are, you can work from there. And you need to identify where that is in real life and social. You know, we used to be able to go to the library and get certain information, put handouts. You could go to tourist information and put leaflets there. It's the same sort of thing. You know, if your target market is holiday makers, tourist information, leaflets, similar sort of thing. You're trying to work out where your target market is, both in real life and in the social world. So again, I want you to pause this in a second to take some action. Here's the 3 things you're going to do. What's the best social channel for your customer? Where might they be in the real world? And what other groups or interests might they have across both social and the real world? Okay, that sounds a bit strange, doesn't it, the real world? But I think you know where I'm coming from. Right then, we're moving on to some real nitty gritty here. So what you really need to start thinking about is your services in the way of what I call a value ladder. Okay, so basically, if you're trying to attract new people into your business and say, hey, come and do a course with us, it's £500. Basically, this person doesn't know who you are and you're trying to take £500 off them. Think about that from the other way. Put yourself in their shoes. When was the last time you went out and bought something for £500? Or take your top value course, okay, whatever that top value course is, and think, when was the last time I went and spent that money? Okay, so let's say it's £300 to £500 for a course, okay? When was the last time you spent that sort of money on anything? The reality is most people don't very often, but they do take a lot of time to work up to it. So what happens is, and obviously there's some differences, of course there is, but you've got a unique opportunity to be able to warm clients up to you as a business. So the first thing is on the value ladder. If you think about at the bottom, the first thing you could offer someone is something for free. Okay, so hi, welcome to our centre. We'd like to offer you a free open day, for example. They can come in for a free open day, free taster session, whatever it happens to be. And then from there, it could be an evening course. It could be a weekend course. It could be a week-long course. It could be a year-long zero to hero type course. So you've got that value ladder all the way through where you can work with your customer, okay? But don't expect them to come in and go, boom, here's a course for £1,000 or £500, because the chances are they're probably not going to do that unless you're warming them up for a very long period, okay? So what you're looking to do is put something on for free and then scale as you go. Now, it doesn't actually have to be something online. It could be something of perceived value, and we'll come on to that in a little bit. But it's step by step. And when you think about it, the sentence at the bottom there, we help children to achieve independence through key activities on the water or something along those lines. Now, I'm clearly thinking that up as I'm going. But do you see where I'm coming from? Your value ladder, who are you helping your dream customer to achieve what result? We help male 45-year-olds to achieve sailing success through independent learning and regular teaching, like whatever it happens to be. So you really need to think about what that sentence looks like for your individual customer. Everyone's going to be different. We help individuals to achieve success through. That's really what you're looking to do. But you do that through your value ladder, and you're scaling people as it goes. So now what you need to do is take a moment to write down your value ladder. I want you to put down what you currently do for free, and I want you to put everything in cost value. So from free all the way through to your most expensive. Now, you may have different value ladders for different areas of your business. So one might be sailing, one might be power boating, one might be personal watercraft, one might be canal boating, whatever it happens to be, you have a different value ladder. One might be for instructor training, one might be, the list literally goes on. But what I want you to do is put them all into order and then break them down into category of what's most relevant to you, all right? So think about what's free all the way through to the most expensive, and think about how they go along that value ladder and how that works. So the next thing is, what is a decent lead magnet, or what is a lead magnet? So a lead magnet is where you're attracting customers to you. It really is as simple as that. And the key thing to do here is to think about how you can attract them to your center with something of perceived value, like we talked about earlier. What's the free thing that you can give them? So it's the thing that's at the bottom of the value ladder, and something that's going to give them the opportunity to get to know you. You want them to like you, trust you, and know you. That's what you're really trying to do at this stage. So you're trying to build their confidence and knowledge with you to be able to take the next step. So the first step is perhaps something for free or something of perceived value. It could be a £5 come and try session. It doesn't always have to be for free, but it can be, it needs to be something at the bottom of that value ladder. And really you're trying to build that rapport with customers. Now there are different ways you can do this. So you could have a webinar, depending on what you're doing. It could be an ebook, it could be a survey, it could be a challenge. There are so many options out there, but you need to think about what's most relevant to your customer. I know I keep coming back to it, but your customer is the absolute key critical part for you to be able to target the lead magnet directly. Okay, so for example, if you was doing instructor training, the lead magnet might be download our ebook for the 20 best places to teach sailing this summer. You know, if you're teaching power boating, it could be come and gain independence on the Solent today and learn how to do it in 4 easy steps. Webinar could be come and find out how to use our 6 steps to master navigation. Yeah, it doesn't always have to be something on the water, because it could be something on online. Absolutely key to do, especially at the moment. What can you do to attract people in? Okay, so lead magnets, time to do some action again. Write down what is the free lead magnet you offer. Okay, how much you can engage them online and offline, and how can you get them to you. So I want you to think about webinars. I want you to think about open days, taster sessions. Think about referrals. Come and try it free with a friend. You know, all those sort of things. You need to start thinking about what are those lead magnets. How can you attract people to attract them to your center? Because we know the customer is, we know where they are. Now we've got to do is attract them. And the lead magnet is absolutely crucial to be able to do that, to understand how you can pull them into your center. Because what you're trying to do is go, hey, we've got a center, come join us, but they've got no reason to do that. They need to pull them in. Download our 6 steps to making sure your kids can have a great positive summer, you know, for summer camps, whatever it happens to be. All right, so that's lead magnets. Now, obviously, the hardest part about all of that is then creating traffic. How do you generate traffic? Now, as we stand today, there are some great places for traffic, there are some poor places for traffic, and there are some that are creating very high demand. Now, as we go through, you know, what happens today and what happens in 6 months' time are very, very different, okay? So actually, if I say, well, use Facebook or use Google or YouTube, they're all different at different times. So you need to think what's relevant to your market and what's best. Now, there are 3 types of traffic: cold, warm, and hot. Cold traffic is someone you don't know, you don't own the traffic, and it will be an ad or organic traffic to a degree that you're bringing in, but it's new customers, okay? So you don't know them. So the way you target those individuals is going to be different to the way if you've got a raving fan, which is your hot traffic. Your hot traffic is your raving fan who comes week in, week out, absolutely loves it, writes all the 5-star reviews, buys everything as soon as it comes out. They're the people you're trying to do. The other people are warm traffic. These are people that might have been customers in the past. These are people that haven't sort of come through the cold stage, haven't really taken anything any further, but they're pretty much on your list. The key thing to say is there's 2 types of traffic. There's traffic you own, and there's traffic you don't own. The traffic you don't own is traffic that comes from ads, Facebook, those sort of places, because you don't own that traffic, okay? Once you have their email address or their phone number, you own the list, okay? So what you're trying to do all the time is to build your list off of those platforms, okay? Because one thing that's stayed constant throughout all of the changes with Google or Facebook or social, everything, email is the most consistent. Now, it has come down, but once you've got the email address and the phone number, mobile number for text messaging, things like that, you do have a amount of ability to own that traffic. Yeah, no one can take that away from you. If Google or Amazon, Google or Facebook decides to shut you down and suspend you and say you can't do any more traffic, then you've lost something. You know, if you've built a Facebook page of 10,000 followers or likes and everything else, and then Facebook shuts you, you've completely lost that. So it's absolutely crucial you make sure you've got a different list. And this is where you work with your Dream 100. So you want to be working with your Dream 100 to target those individuals and really focus on your customer to really get more people into your business. So, action. Where's your warm traffic? Where's your hot traffic? And where can you get cold traffic from, organic or paid? Take a moment to write all those things down. Now, what you'll see is what we've now created is what we would call the secret formula. So we now understand who is our dream customer. So we know who they are. What we've now gone on and done is we know where they are. So we can now, we can now go to them, all right? But what we need in order to go to them is some bait. So what we do is we create the lead magnets to be able to attract them, to bring them to where we are, to get them on the water and get them sailing. And that's really what you want to focus on is once you've got who your customer is, you know where they are, you create the lead magnets, you can bring them in as customers, all right? That's what you're trying to do. So that's the overall strategy of knowing what to do. And now we're going to go and break that down, because when you start thinking about where you are and everything else, we're going to start moving into other areas of the future-based calls. And that's going to be crucial for you to understand who the customer is when we get there. So when we're starting to think about our center as a whole, what we really do need to think about is what is our vision, our mission, culture, values, all those sort of things. Now, some people go into absolute mad detail with these. Just keep it really, really simple, because the culture in your business is the thing that will attract your customers, okay? So if you run or have a leisure style business, the culture that you're trying to generate is the culture that your customer is trying to achieve while it's there, okay? So if you go on a school's holiday and it's a school trip and you go to a very well-known provider where they do kids, and that's all they do, the culture of that is going to be very, very different to if you go onto a high-value water sports holiday, all right? Or the culture in your business, a tidal venue or a lake. You can do different things in different places, but the culture is absolutely key. So what we think about is, what is your overall vision, all right? Now, you need to go big, and I mean really big, okay? Don't just think, yeah, we want to take some people sailing. We want to get more people on the water. That is not definitive enough. We want to get every person in England sailing. I want to get everybody in Hampshire powerboating. I want to get everyone in the southeast on my personal watercraft course. You know, what is your overall vision? You've got to think really big, and people just don't think big enough. Okay, so my goal to you is here, is to get everyone in the world sailing. All right, what is that vision for your center? Now, if I give you my vision for our business, for our e-commerce business, remember we help Americans expand their e-commerce businesses into Europe. So our vision is to expand every e-commerce seller in the United States to the EU. Okay, that's our vision. There's 3 million of them. 3 million. We are never probably ever going to be able to expand 3 million people. But I'll tell you what, that is what we're aiming for. And you need to think massive, okay? Because if you think, oh, I just want to get every school in Hampshire, every school in 10-mile distance sailing, it's great. It's just not big enough, okay? You need to think bigger than what you're thinking now, okay? You are limited by your own vision and your own ability to think outside the box, okay? So that's the vision. The mission is how you're going to do that, yeah? So what might be the couple of individual tactics to do that, okay? So we do that by by successfully expanding sellers into the EU marketplace and making them the EU's next biggest seller, all right? So that's what we're trying to do. We take the big vision and we move it down by providing a number of different services. This, and this. So it's really clear to our customers, this is what we're trying to do. Here's our mission. And then we've got the culture. What are the things that happen every day that our customers want to see? Now, some of that is a bit, basically we're working with Americans. It's English country garden, it's all those sort of things. So, but your customers are going to be different to that. What is it they're expecting to come and see? What do they want to do when they're there? They don't want to turn up in a suit and tie. They want to turn up in flip-flops, they want boardies on, they want a hat, they want some sun cream on, they want some sunglasses, and they want to look Gucci. Yeah, they want to look amazing when they come down there, and they want to go and live that lifestyle of living by the sea or being by the water and so on. Now, everyone's going to be slightly different, but that's what you're trying to really do. You're trying to make the culture be breathed throughout all of your instructors and the whole of the center in order to make that happen. All right. So that's what you're really looking to try and do. Now, once we've got those and we've got the customer, we need to identify the products and services and create an offer in order to bring them along our movement. All right. Because people don't always buy products and services and offers. Okay. What they buy into is a culture, a belief. Yeah, they're looking to follow someone or an organization that's going to basically help them to get to where they want, their perceived goal. Yeah. So that's why you see people that are following people on Instagram, influencers, they're following influence because that's where they want to get to. They're influenced by them. That's where they're looking to get to. And that's what we've got to do with our centers and market them so people see that, it's not just about a product or a service. It's about where we want to get to. But we do need to identify the products and services that work for our customers. Yeah, and the journey that takes them on. What are the new products that we could bring out? What products are not selling? That doesn't mean to say they won't. It might mean that you're not selling them in the right way. So what do you need to do to make that happen? So you need to review those things, okay? People don't want products. They want to belong to something. They want to follow something. You need to create that culture and movement in order to bring people through. And the more you do that, the more successful you will be, because the experts in doing this are the ones that are winning. These are the ones that have big social followings. These are the ones that have big activity. And I have to be honest, the people I see doing this really well at the moment are cable skis, people with cable lines. They're towing people around. They've created a culture. They're bringing people down. It's close, it's simple, it's easy. That's what we've got to do. We've got to create good, high quality facilities. We've got to make the facilities clean and tidy. We've got to do everything we can that attracts our customer into our vision and goal and into their vision and goal of where they're looking to get to. All right. And we're really lucky that the RYA has a number of schemes that has already created essentially the stepping stones that people go along in order to move through the schemes. We've already got the framework for each syllabus. We've already got that. It's now a case of how you sell that to make that work for your customer. Because it's all very well having the framework, but what you've got to understand is the framework is a guide to teach people to sell or teach people to powerboat or whatever across all the schemes. What you've now got to do is link that to your customer. It's not, if you just put it out there, here's level 1, here's level 2, here's level 3, come do it. People don't know what level 1, level 2, and level 3 are, number one. Number two, it might not be the right messaging for your customer. So you've got to make that messaging absolutely key and crucial for your customer and your target market audience. All right. So take action. Here's what we need to do. Identify the products and services that meet the needs of your customers. Okay. Create a 1-sentence vision and mission. It's only 1 sentence. Like what's your overall vision? I want to get everyone powerboating in here. Yeah. I want to get everyone riding our PWCs this summer. Like whatever it happens to be, I want you to think as big as you possibly can. And at least one of you, if not all of you, must say, I want to get everyone in this country sailing. I want to get everyone powerboating, whatever it is. Like you've got to think massive, okay? You're really trying to take your vision to the next level. And you need to think about the key attributes that make up your culture that are going to attract your customer, okay? That's key. Because if your culture doesn't align with your customer, you ain't ever going to sell anything, okay? So you may have the best products, the best instructors, and the best equipment, but if that doesn't work for your target market, you're not going to sell anything, okay? You've got to make sure that it works. And it's all about selling it, but keeping the customer coming back. The absolute crucial part is you do level 1, level 2, level 3, and so on. We've got those stepping stones. There's no reason why after the first couple of courses on all the schemes, they just plummet. There's no reason at all. because people do want to continue. They want the stepping stones. You've got the framework. The art way is put all of that together. You've now got to market that to your students and to your customers. Okay, so now what you've got to identify is, what do they really want? You've got your customer in your center. They've done the level 1, they've done the level 2. And now you think, do they want to improve or do they want a new opportunity? Because what happens is when people are going through this process is people don't want, once they think they've mastered it, let's take up to a level 2 standard, okay, in powerboating, sailing, obviously windsurfing slightly different, but the same sort of process. When you go through all of that, they think they can do it, okay? They fundamentally believe, I can now powerboat, I can now sail, I can now windsurf. We know that there's still a huge amount more steps to go in order for them to get to the next level. But the problem is, we've said we're going to teach them to sail. We've taught them to sail, we've taught them to powerboat, and what happens is they're now like, I can do this, and off they go. But you're missing the trick. You've got to create the new opportunity that waits for them at the next step. Okay, so depending again on your target market, it's going to depend how you do that. And let me just give you an example, right? So for sailing, beginner to advanced, there's lots of different things, right? So let's say that they've learned to dinghy sail, they've done level 2, they've better sailing, basic skills, they can sail, they can go out, they can sail a triangular course. That's great. But there's racing, there's spinnakers, there's performance, like there's trapeze, like there's so many things for them to do. It's about how we label that opportunity for them to do, okay? And that's not about creating a whole new scheme. That's about using the schemes and changing your marketing to approach to your target audience, okay? And the other thing is, I'm just using sailing as an example here, right? Look at all the different things that people can do. They can do dinghy cruising, dinghy racing. They can do big boat cruising. They can do big boat racing. They can do keel boats. You know, they can sail clinker boats. They can sail modern boats. People can go off and teach. They can have a job. There's so many things that they can do under the sailing banner, but you've got to create that opportunity for them to do it, okay? And we see that when we get new things come out. So let's take windsurfing as an example. Windsurfing comes out and everyone goes sailing. Everyone goes sailing. Then windsurfing comes out. Everyone goes, oh, sailing is great, but I want to learn to windsurf. So loads of people go and learn to windsurf. Then everyone goes and learns to windsurf. So now we've got lots of people sailing and windsurfing. Then what happens is kite surfing comes out. Kite surfing comes out and it's taking people into that as well. It's the new opportunity. And then what comes out? Stand-up paddleboarding. Do you see what I mean? It's always the new opportunity. But we've got those opportunities within our sport. We don't need to pass them on to the other sports, okay? Yeah, and actually, you know, from a centre point of view, that's great. If you do all those different sports, you can move them from one to the other. Kayaking, whatever it happens to be, you can move them from one to the other. But really what you're looking to do in each individual sport is to move them from one step to the next, all right? So let's take powerboating for another example. You know, when they do their level 2, they basically, most people want to be able to get in a powerboat. They want to be able to use it safely. They want to be able to start. They need to stop. They don't want to look like an idiot when they turn up in the marina. And they want to be able to blow through full throttle across the Solent, okay? In that course, we teach them how to buoy hop from one buoy to the other to get to wherever they want to get to, right? Now, the next step after level 2 is intermediate. Intermediate is sort of, I'm hesitant to use the word, and I know that Rachel is listening, so I'm hesitant to use the word, but you know, it's almost giving them the day skippery type qualification information, okay? Not the qualification, but the information on an intermediate course, so they can use their powerboat in that level. You know, please don't go and use that wording. We need to think about what that wording looks like. But you know, it's not about intermediate. People don't want to be an intermediate at anything, okay? So it's about relabeling it, and when they get here, oh yeah, you get your intermediate certificate, right? I mean, advanced is another great idea, because actually it's a case of, okay, you're going to do something different, okay? So we're going to go and teach you how to navigate at night. Now, to me, that's pretty cool. You've got to be careful when you do that, And most people do that on the shoulders of the season. I totally get that, but it's always cold. Yeah, but you know, I remember doing my advanced. I was in a Sea Rider rib, 4 meters long, in the middle of Weymouth Harbour in like a force 4 to 6. Goodness knows, I got a chart that's getting soaking wet. That is not a pleasurable experience. Okay, now I was young and stupid, so I didn't really mind. So you have to think about your target audience, but not everyone's going to want to do that, and not everyone's going to be like this in a Sea Rider. So you really need to think about what that looks like. But you're looking to take them to the new opportunity, not an improvement. People don't want to improve. Yeah, obviously some people like the opportunity to hone their craft, but they want that new opportunity. We're talking mass market here. You know, there's so many things we can do. You've got to label that right for your individual customer. So here's a couple of examples. I think I've probably already talked through some of these, to be fair. So power boating on the left. You know, level 1, level 2, you're actually safety boat. Again, that's a new opportunity. Learn to drive the power craft and keep people safe at the same time. How to ride boats, how to pull rescue windsurfers. All those sort of things are really valuable skills, and that's a great opportunity. Yeah, you've got the intermediate and advanced type stuff there. You know, that for me is really, really important for you to be able to navigate people through. Take sailing. Yeah, we've got the seamanship, day sailing, sailing with spinnakers performance. But it's about how we label that. For me, the biggest one that is the challenge at the moment is better sailing. Okay, so what do we need to do with better sailing? No one wants to be a better sailor. People want to go from being a sailor to being an expert. And we need to give them those steps. So we need to think about labeling when we're selling the better sailing course, how you're doing that to your end user. And obviously for the children's stages, that's obviously slightly different. There's stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, stage 4. You know, what are we doing with them to show them there's a new opportunity? What is next for them? You know, how do they want to do that with their friends, on their own? You know, what's the next boat? So we've got to really, really think about what our customers' perceptions are and what the opportunity looks like for them. So really what you're doing is you're selling that dream. It's going to be different between adults, kids, beginner and advanced, but you've got to think about the language and the photos. So I'm just going to use these pictures as an example, okay? So what you're doing is you're taking people from bringing in right at the beginning, we talked about bringing them in, you know, and bring them into your new opportunity, your movement, okay? Bringing them in and guiding them. And you're taking them to the future, okay? What does that future look like for them? Now, for me, there's 4 pictures there. Now, for some people, this is going to be different for everyone, okay? So this isn't like a one-stop shop answer here. You need to think about what your customer's future looks like. But here's 4 pictures. So for me, for dinghy sailing, that is where I want to be. I want to be sailing a 49er downwind in 25 knots, going max 6, absolutely smashing it out of the park. Like, that's what I want to do. I'm totally happy with that. That's where I want to be. That's my future. So how do you as a centre get me to there? Yeah. You know, if I want to go, so the picture on the right, if anyone doesn't know that, that's Valshida and Valshida's powerboat bystander. I first saw this when I was working in an overseas centre in Spain. Absolutely stunning. If you've never seen them together, it's absolutely amazing. But anyway, the future, that's the future for me. You know, I see myself owning Valshida. I want to own Valshida and bystander. You know, that's the future for me. So how do we get there? Now, the future might not be how do I own that, but it might be how do I have the skills to be able to helm that and to navigate that. And do you see where I'm coming from? That's the ultimate goal. Then when you come down, there's 2 other things. You're power boating. What does that goal look like with the power boating? You know, clearly I'm going really, really extreme there. You know, clearly not everyone wants to go around in a powerboat like that, but some people will. What is their future? What does that look like for them? Windsurfing. No one wants to go windsurfing, fall in, get up, uphaul, fall in, stand up, uphaul. No one wants to do that. What they want to do is go fast and look cool. That's what they want to do. So you've got to give them that future. You've got to show that's where they're going to get to. Now, as I say, that's going to be different for all of your target markets. And you've got to make sure that your target market is relevant to the pictures and the language that you're portraying. So when we come back to the content we talked right at the beginning, the content has to be relevant to that target market. You know, they don't want to be in a Pico in a cold, wet, windy day. Now, obviously some of the content you might produce might be of that. So you need to think about how you wrap that to make that work for your audience, okay? But you've got a mixture of all of that. You've got to sell what the future-based cause is for them. You know, there's so much around at the moment about, you know, obviously plastics and water and everything else. You know, for some people, it could be the environment thing. You know, they don't want to drive a powerboat. They want to learn to sail because it's environmentally friendly. You know, everyone's going to have a different reason. Some people will want to be able to drive a powerboat so they can go and clean up all the stuff in the water, or learn to kayak or sup or wherever it happens to be. You know, you've really got to think about that customer. I keep coming back to that, but that's absolutely crucial for you to be able to do. So there's sort of the overall goals. You need to think about what that future-based cause is, but what that new opportunity is, how they're going to get there. You've got to think about what your movement, your culture really needs and what your customer looks like. Now, the future-based cause, it gets them to somewhere. Now, it has to be about a status increase of some sort. Now, obviously, we're in a leisure industry. A leisure industry is going to be different to a finance background or any other sort of business, okay? Because people come to a leisure organization for something different. They're not coming to make money. They're not coming to get more intelligent. You know, you can see some of these more power. They're not trying to get all of those. Your physical appearance, health, style, happiness. You know, for me, I don't know about anyone else on here, the moment I get into the water, okay, I'm much happier for at least a month after. For me, submerging in water makes me happy for the rest of the day. And that's everything from a swimming pool to out on the sea or in a lake, okay? It just puts a smile on my face. And yeah, there was something that came out a little while ago, something called the Blue Gym. It didn't really go very far, but basically what they were saying is that, you know, get in the water every day. It will absolutely put a smile on your face. You know, and that's what we need to be selling. You know, let's take, you know, Hugo Boss, okay? Great picture, you know, great stunts that Alex does on a regular basis to do different things. You know, they are selling a dream there, okay? That's what they're doing. No one I know has ever gone and stood on a kill in a suit other than Alex, okay? So what does that look like? You're selling your customers the future. You know, this is the dream. You can look smart like me and have it all. Look at the bow. Look what I'm about to go and achieve. Look how successful I am. Look what I'm going to go and do. That's what you're selling, okay? And that's being targeted to a specific audience. And I use that because obviously it's sailing related. You know, all of your customers are different. They're all going to be coming in for different reasons. So you need to think about the status of your customers and what that really needs. If their status goes down, you know, it's like every time they leave the center or your company, if they don't leave with a smile, they won't come back. So you have to make sure they leave with a smile. Anyone who leaves with a smile will come back. And that's what you're aiming to do. But it has to be around their goals, their needs, and their wants. And they're all different for everybody. Okay, action. So I want you to look at your current marketing and see who you're currently, if you was to look at your website today, who is that targeted at? Who really is going to come to that? Are you offering improvements or opportunities? Is your current marketing leading it to the culture or the dream of the person you're looking for? And what is the status your customers are looking for? Okay, because once you know what your status is, you can also create your culture around that. If your status is around, you know, boardies, flip-flops, sunglasses, long hair, you know, actually the instructors you employ might be better targeted around there. If your target market is keelboats and 55 plus, then the chances are you're probably not going to have those instructors in your center. You've got to think about how that all works together. So we've got all of that information. The secret now is how do we pull that all together to actually make it work? And you've got two options, okay? You've got a funnel and you've got a website. Now I know that the majority of you will have a website. The question is, a website is a great shop window, okay? How many shops have you been past in the last month, okay? How many shops have you gone in, okay? Your website is exactly that. you need to make your website generate leads. And the best way of doing that is having some way of engaging with your customers. So for example, a really simple way would be is that when someone's on your website, you can have a pop-up that comes up after a moment or two, when this is not about GDPR and all the rest of it, and we're going to not worry about that in this presentation, okay? But a pop-up can come up and go, would you like to come to our open day? If so, leave your email address and we'll send you the details. All of a sudden, your website has gone from a shop window to lead generation, okay? Because you can then email that customer and get in contact with them. You've now put that customer into your sales funnel because they're the first step of the ladder. They have given you their email address for something for free or for something of low value, okay? It could be on your website that you've got on each discipline. So you've got sailing, powerboating, whatever. You could have on there, download our top 5 tips for having an amazing first session. Like, there could be tons of different things, okay, that you could do, all right? But you're looking to bring people into a funnel in order to engage them. There are specific programs that are funnel related. So you could actually build your website in a funnel platform. It's a really great way of doing it, but I would start off with making sure that your website can generate leads. And I'm not talking about contact us. Like, no one does. People do the contact us page, but there are not more people that go on your website that just go elsewhere, okay? So you need to make sure that you can contact them or have a way of interacting with them to get the best piece of information. So once you've got your website and everything set up, you need to make sure you've got a landing page for every single product you do, and that needs to be target specific for each customer audience. So for example, if you do schools and you do adults, you know, if you do powerboating, sailing, windsurfing, canal boating, whatever you do, all of those different disciplines need to have different landing pages targeted to different audiences, okay? So it could be school sailing, schools powerboating, kids powerboating, adults powerboating. You know, it could be adult competent crew courses, online, whatever. You see what I'm coming? Every time someone comes into your website, they need to come to a landing page that is specifically designed for them. And on that page, you have a lead magnet. Your lead magnet generates the lead to generate towards your business, okay? You've gone, you know who your customer is, you've targeted them, you've sent them with a lead magnet to your landing page, which gives them a bit of information about it. You've got the lead magnet, you've got the customer, all right? And the list building is the most crucial part. And you can do that through email, social, and bots. There's lots of other ways, but they're the key things you need to think about doing to make sure that you can stay current, okay? So they're landing pages. So action, look at your website. What could be changed for your target customer? How are you going to generate leads from your website into your funnel? Can you use funnel software? If you don't know what I'm talking about, don't worry about that for now. You need to create landing pages for every single product and every dream customer. So you need to make a list. You need to make a list of your products. You need to make a list of your customers, and you're going to work out how many you're going to be able to, you need to do, okay? Clearly, you're not going to be able to do all that overnight, and you need to put a plan in place. And that's another step of the story. Now, here's some questions you should know. What does it cost you to acquire a customer? Because if you know it costs you £1 to acquire a customer, and that one customer average cart value is £250, how many pounds are you going to spend? You're going to spend a load of them, right? If you know that your cost to acquire a customer is £55 and your average cart value is £58, you might not do as many customers, okay? You might not attract as many customers until you've tweaked that model. But you need to know how much it costs you to acquire a customer, because you want to take your customer away from their pain and to the pleasure, all right? Yeah, that's what you're looking to do, but you can only do that by making sure you can do that profitably. So you take out, what does it cost to acquire it? You know, what's the average cart value? Now, the other thing to consider is, what's the lifetime value of that customer? So you've got the average cart value, but then you've got how many transactions might they make. So for example, if it costs you 50, the example I used a moment ago, £55 there, whatever it was, to gain a new customer. But on the first transaction, they only spent £55, but you knew that the lifetime value of that customer is £2,000. Would you spend £55? Of course you would, because you know you're going to get the additional after. So that's what you've really got to think about. You need to know how many leads you're getting in and how many conversions. And that's not just for the business as a whole. That's for each course. That's for each discipline. It's each week. It's each salesperson or it's each advisor, whatever it happens to be. That's what you're looking to do. Do you have a process that you put people through? When they come in as a contact, how quickly do you answer that? So I have a very good friend who owns a team building company, and they say that if they don't reply within 30 seconds, they don't get the business. That's how competitive it is. Because a PA will sit in their office and go, I need to organise a team building, and they'll basically go, right, team building companies list, contact, 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 contact. If you go back within 30 seconds, boom, you've got them. It's no different. What is your time to get back to your customer? You need to get back to him, and you need to have that process written down. The customer comes in, okay, what happens if they phone or if they email? How do we respond? You really need to think about that and make that prescriptive. And you need to make a script of what that looks like. And then think about what's your vision over the next 3 to 5 years? What do you really want to achieve, okay? And then you can make that into tangible day-to-day actions. But with all of the things we've just gone through, you need to basically write them all down. You've created a plan. You are not going to be able to do this overnight. And what you now need to think about is, okay, if I had a plan over 90 days, so the next 3 months, okay, there's 13 weeks. Have I got 13 things I want to do? Let's put in one a week. Okay, let's do one a week so that in 13 weeks' time, I've got everything done and I can maximize the opportunities coming in. Really, really key. Okay, so what's next? Okay, so here's a few things that make the biggest difference for me, because clearly I cannot give you everything in a 1 hour, give or take, webinar. So some of the, I basically educate myself every day. So if you don't, you should. I thoroughly recommend it. It wasn't something I did at school particularly well. However, since leaving school, I definitely have. So it's one of those things where, you really should try and educate yourself, at least read one book a month to try and learn something new. Now, I learned a lot of things from various places, but I'm going to give you the keys. So there's a secret trilogy series that I can give you the information for. The content model is by a guy called Gary V, which I can send to you. You need to put a plan in place. You need to take action. If you don't take action today on any of this stuff, then you're a fool, okay? You need to be able to look at this stuff and think, okay, what can I tweak today that's going to make a difference there? Because every single little difference will add up and make a big difference at the end, okay? It's really, really key. There's loads of ways to educate yourself. I use Audible. I'm not that great at reading books. So what I actually do is I use Audible, which is you buy a book and listen to the books. There's books on Amazon as well, on iTunes, whatever. Basically, when I go to the gym, I'm exercising for an hour every morning and I listen to a book for at least an hour every day. Two things. You should educate yourself more than you entertain yourself. What is your crossover? Do you entertain yourself more than educate? What I mean by that is, how many hours do you sit in front of the TV between educate yourself? And because the answer is, if you're watching rubbish on TV, okay, you will become the rubbish on TV. If you're educating yourself and watching a bit of TV, that's the difference, okay? You need to take action on all of these things. I'm by no means an expert in any of these things. I've just learned it as I've gone on, and I'm just trying to give you some information you can take away and use. The books are amazing, and you should definitely do them. If you scan the code, what that will do is that will come to a messenger bot, and basically the messenger bot will basically give you all the books and all the content that you need in order to be able to take this away and impact it today. Absolutely crucial. Okay, so any questions? Please fire the questions through to all the different people. There's going to be places you can do that below. You can ask the questions. You can obviously do that on social as well and contact us. Here's my contact information should you need it. info@lime-sports.org. There's our website. But really, my big focus is in the e-commerce businesses and things that we're doing now. But I would love to help as many of you as I can. If you contact me on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, all those different places, probably best to follow me individually rather than Lime Sports, because it doesn't do a huge amount at the moment because of the other things that we're doing. But I'm happy and willing to help and answer any questions that you have. You just need to reach out and ask the question, because all of this information is here. All of this information is available. You've just got to digest it and learn it. And I've given you all the strategies that I can in this hour. It's now down to you to go away and learn those and make sure you put the tactics in place to help you to succeed going forward. So that's it for me. Thank you very much. I hope that's been of use.